Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Dyka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merc Zone, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
And we are blessed to have a full crew today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the missing whale, man. He's not missing anymore. We found him. He was swimming.
With the
whale. He's back. He's back. Mr. Kyle Budzanowski, our college sports and NBA insider. He is here. And that's exactly what we're going to lead off today's show with, guys. We're going to talk some NBA action. We're going to talk about some, it's funny, it's different eras versus different opinions. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in regards to the return of the NBA. We're going to talk some college sports. We got a lot to catch up with Kyle here, so we might be revisiting some old topics that we talked about a few weeks ago with just me and Mike here. Lots of good stuff to go over. And the second half of the show is all pro wrestling talk. So be prepared for that. We're going to be talking the Money in the Bank review as well as the Becky Lynch announcement. We're going to be previewing AEW's Double or Nothing. And we also be throwing in some tournament talk. And we'll hit on that more if we have time today. Lots of good stuff coming your way. Just a reminder, guys, real quick before we get on the show, we have brand new merchandise, belowthecollar.com/I'm Always Right PC. To go there, get the official I'm Always Right logo shirt. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's that logo right there. You will be able to buy that, support the show. All proceeds from those shirts goes right back into the show. And then obviously we are live every single Monday, 7 a.m. in podcast form, and then live every Wednesday in YouTube world. So just a reminder of that stuff, guys. Get some business out of the way. But let's jump right into it. NBA basketball obviously been on hiatus for a while. We've talked about it ad nauseum about how we were really looking forward to the playoff atmosphere right this year. It was this NBA as it stands right now. Could be argued is probably the most balanced as far as maybe not the top couple teams, but everywhere else across the league, you had a lot of really great matchups, right? Everybody has 1 to 2, 2.5 stars worth of talent that you can go, okay, it's Harden and Westbrook versus, Chris Paul and Adams, or name a couple guys. And, obviously due to the coronavirus, everything gets blocked off. And now we're hearing, guys like Charles Barkley, some of the legends on that Inside the NBA show, which is doing great numbers, by the way, are kind of just saying, you know what, maybe we just cancel the season, right? It makes no sense to continue the season while we have current NBA stars, even guys like Durant who wouldn't be playing anyway, but like LeBron, some of the bigger names have all kind of come to a consensus where they go, no, we want to play. Like, we want the rest of the season to start. Kyle, I'll start with you since you're back. Thoughts? Do you want to see the NBA season, and in what way? Like, there's been a lot of talk of, okay, we're going to do an NCAA kind of tournament, where it's single elimination. We're going to pick it back up in the regular season. We're just going to start, playoffs. We're just going to go right there with the way it stands now. Your thoughts on, do you want the NBA to be back, and in what way?
Personally, I would want the NBA to be back. You could kind of manipulate how the season would actually go if you would have an actual season, then playoffs, or just playoffs. Yeah. But I also understand where these legends are coming from. They played their respective years in the NBA, and I feel like they just kind of lost their drive, their will to play the game. So for them, it's easy to be
that's terrible.
we don't want to see this play because personally, they don't have the drive. But players who are in the NBA now, they love playing the NBA. At least for now, they want to play. So for them, that's their life. That's their career. They want to play. And so I see it on both standpoints. But personally, I would have kind of a playoffs. It'd be cool to see some kind of playoff tournament.
Do you want to see the traditional? So say 1 through 8, right? You want to just see the traditional playoff set where it's okay, starting today, right? You've got the Lakers. I don't even who's the 8 seed. Is it the Spurs or something?
It's Memphis Grizzlies.
Memphis, right? So 1 versus 8, right? That's how we're going to start off. Or do you want to see something different, maybe just for this 1 year because we're kind of in unprecedented circumstances?
I've kind of thought about it a little bit, and I was thinking maybe have the 1 through 8, but shortened. But then can you do that? Because I
guess you could do it maybe a 3-gamer,
you can go back to how it was back in the 80s. We did a 3 or 5.
It was a 5-game series, right? So you just win 3, and you're okay, we're done instead of the 7. Yeah, for sure.
See, in my opinion, though, if you're all going to a neutral site, kind of like how the NCAA tournament goes, I don't see why you couldn't go
as many games
as you want, because as long as you do it safely, where everyone's in the same arena, you could do it where March Madness does it, except you have multiple days where, say, Monday you have the West playing. You have the 1 and 8 at 12 o'clock.
Yep.
This team at 2. This team at 4.
Just the whole thing.
And you do the whole all of them in one day, and then you play every other day or whatever. So you do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, whatever. I think that's a perfectly fine way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I don't think you really need to modify how the NBA does it now, because I'm like, if you all go to the same, it's actually probably easier to have everyone just in the same area.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
doing it all in one spot. Then all right, now you got to go fly this.
Do you think that they should? So you would prefer it that way rather than like the traditional, like, okay, we're just going to get random games, wherever. Like, do you think that's the best? The best course of action?
I think that is the best course of action. I think if you want to be the most fair to all teams, I think that you could do you could put all of them in there. If you fly every single team down to Florida or Arizona, wherever you're going to hold it, and you put there's 15 teams in each conference, so the number 1 seed gets a bye in the first round, and you do 2 and 15, 3 and 14.
Oh man,
and
Pistons are like, we
that's
got
what I mean,
a shot.
At least you give every team a shot, knowing that the bottom seeded teams
aren't making it anyway, right?
Like the teams like the Pistons are going to be playing teams like the Sixers and stuff.
How crazy would that be though? Like you see like that one time where it's like, oh, the Spurs put it together for one game and knock off the Clippers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you also, I think then though, if you did it for like 3-5 game series, I think you'd still get the best team winning each series instead of single game elimination, and you'll probably end up with the 1 through 8 in the same spots.
Yeah, that would be definitely
interesting.
Interesting for sure. Do you, I mean, you guys, we're all kind of, we'd like to see the NBA back, right? Or do you think we're actually going to get it back, though? Or is this all just a lot of talk? And, like, I know Adam Silver is trying to walk that line between, like, we've got to figure out, and I know they kind of pushed the deadline to talk about this till June, but, like, as far as, as from a safety perspective and everything else, do you guys, Mike, I'll start with you. Do you honestly think that we're going to have an NBA season?
I think
we're going to finish it out?
I think if we get any season, it's the NBA season.
You think so?
I think that
over baseball or anything else?
I would say baseball, but the thing with baseball is it hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
So it's easy to just go, all right, we'll just cancel the season because you haven't played a game yet. So it's kind of easier to do that when you're 65 games into a season.
Or hockey. Hockey had 2.
Hockey
had 2 games left.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Hockey had 5 or so games left, and then they were about to enter playoffs too. But hockey, I think it's a little harder to put together because you have to get to the rink, and I don't know. I feel like hockey it's not as viewed.
Well, a lot of people, live. There are a lot more people living outside of the country too.
In Canada, so it's harder to
Canada. I mean, everywhere. Think about it. Yeah.
So I think the NBA, if there was one sport to go, okay, we're going to start back up in mid-June or end of June or whatever, I think it would be the NBA.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the best one too, quite frankly. Like, I know playoff hockey is extremely, fun to watch, but from a overall viewer standpoint of like a traditional American, they're going to watch NBA over NHL.
Yeah.
It's just
what's
going to happen.
I think as we said, I think the NHL fans would I think NHL needs fans a bit because you get playoff hockey, but if it's just nobody talking and just skating back and forth. It just feels like an exhibition game.
I want to see the NBA. I just want to hear the amount of squeakage that would happen to something. That'd be awesome. Same question for you, Kyle. Do you think that we're actually going to get an NBA season this year?
I think we're going to get an NBA season this year. I think it'll be a very modified one, and that could manipulate who's going to win a championship.
Yeah.
But I think there will be one over any other, and it's obviously going to have the no fans in the stadium. That's going to be really weird to watch. It's going to be
hilarious.
I think it'll be even funnier for
college
football.
I think it'll be hilarious. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second for sure. But but that's the thing, right? Is that when you think about what an image could look like we for us wrestling fans, we've already kind of seen what it looks like, and it's a little awkward, right? I think we're slowly but surely just all right, this is the new normal for right now. But with that being said, you're like, man, it's going to definitely be a little weird to just see that. Does this, real quick before we switch to college sports here for a second, does picking up the season help maybe a specific team anymore? Is it provide a pathway for a team like the Pelicans or like the Memphis Grizzlies or a team that's kind of on the fringe there that may or may not make the playoffs? Kind of get, all right, we're a younger team. Maybe it doesn't take as much time to kind of get into a flow. Maybe lend itself to maybe an upset of a team, built more like the Lakers or Clippers, where you got guys in their mid-30s, or their early 30s going against guys that are 23, 24 years old. The rehab time is a lot less. You know what I mean? Do you think that sparks anything, or do you still think at the end of the day, if we have any sort of somewhat comparable NBA playoff structure that the best team is still going to.
I think the best team wins. However, I do think that the teams who are more injury prone are going to be a lot more successful. Because I would look at teams like the Clippers, who only played like 20 games all together as a unit, now had 3 months to all get healthy, and now they're all going to be fully ready. Right. And the Sixers on the Eastern side, they were all going out, and the playoffs are starting in 2-3 weeks. Right. And you had Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, who were injury prone and not knowing if they could play. Right. Now you have all that time to rest back up. Right. I think those two teams benefit the most.
Maybe we see the best version of the playoffs because you're just gonna see everybody full health, ready to go. Like unless you had like an ACL or something like that, like chip chop chip, let's go. I think it's definitely going to be interesting for sure. I hope we get NBA playoffs back in some way. I would love to see a tournament format though. I think it would be
single elimination would stress me out.
Oh my gosh, because like that's
worst case scenario for me.
I mean, it would be. You guys are Lakers fans, so like it'd be crazy where it's like, LeBron only put up 25, and it's like, huh?
No. What would happen is LeBron would put up like 65, 18, and 18.
Yeah,
and
they lose
by 2 to like Memphis, and everyone goes, "How'd you not beat Memphis?"
I know exactly. Well, that's exactly
as a Lakers fan,
that's exactly what I would say. But that's awesome. All right, let's switch now to college sports just for a second here. We here in Michigan, our governor's kind of said that there's probably no chance that we're going to have full stadiums for the upcoming football seasons, right? Whether that's NFL, college, whatever, right? So, and it affects us especially because being here in Michigan, we have the big house, right? That place is ginormous, right? Hundreds of thousands of people every single weekend are there ready to go. And Ford Field even holds a lot of people too. And when that place gets, like, that first game against the Bears, that's going to be a loud night, you know what I mean? If you're full capacity, it just is. But because we're probably not going to see full stadiums for the upcoming season, I wanted to kind of broach the topic of what does that do as from an atmosphere perspective as far as the, maybe bringing some of these teams down a little bit. Kyle, I want to start with you. A team like Michigan, where we don't really know what we're going to see this year, right? We're 2 years removed from them having a great defense. We had all these, these top picks, right? Gary and Bush and what have you. We're now at a point to where we don't know what the offense is going to look like. There's no Shea Patterson, right? We don't even know what the starting quarterback is going to be. So from that side, Michigan needs everything they can get, right, from a home field advantage perspective. With that kind of being subdued a bit, do you think that this, as far as college football goes, that's going to allow a team, say like a Purdue or maybe a middle card team like an Indiana, it gives them a little more confidence going into a game against Michigan, against Ohio State, thinking, okay, there's not this crowd factor, there's not this big swell of momentum against us. We maybe have a shot now to maybe get this W away from our house.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about it. Just driving down the road, I was driving, and I was like, this would be really nice to be an Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
Just all this certainty and just all these nice things. Like, we're in Michigan, we don't even know who our starting quarterback's going to be. We're going to be playing in an empty stadium.
Right.
But yeah, for Michigan, like when they're playing at home, that's like the majority of how they win is playing at home.
You got 100,000 people all being like, "Go you," and then the other team's like, "Sucks." You know what I mean?
And now you're playing at home with nobody. That's huge because now the other team can actually hear their calls. They can switch plays. They can do all these things that no teams could do before. Right. And that was a big reason why it was very hard to win in that stadium.
Yeah.
And now you're in a situation where Michigan is going to play, and like the uncertainty, like you said, they're going to play like a team like Minnesota. I don't know if they're playing.
I have the schedule right now.
I think they're playing Minnesota.
They get some games they have are Wisconsin, Penn State, and Indiana,
at home. Those 3 games are all crucial in their bid, right, for sure. Yeah. But not just for Michigan though, just for teams in general. Like if other states try to adapt this policy, right, where it's like even if there's not any fans, maybe there's 50% capacity or there's 40% or 20% capacity, like whatever the number is, where you just go, man, whatever edge we're getting from being at home. And I think college sports is the one that is the most affected by crowd noise and the ability to have, like, man, we got 80,000 people behind us, right? Like, and they're all jumping out of their skin ready to go. Like going to playing the Horseshoe at Ohio State, that's an intimidating atmosphere to be in, right? Mike, same question to you. What do you feel like, from Michigan, Ohio State, whoever, is going to wind up being affected by this whole thing, does it level the playing field even a little bit for some of these teams? Or are teams like Ohio State, Clemson, where they're just so far ahead of everybody else in their conference that it's not really going to matter.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
To that point.
Yeah.
I think there is certain teams that I don't think it affects at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like at Clemson, if you're going to play Virginia or people are coming to you to play, looking at that schedule, I'm like, they're 12-0, 11-1, no matter what. Like they're just going to be that good regardless.
Right.
I actually kind of like this though, because I think this season's going to be very interesting in the fact that I think every game you're really actually going to see the best team win.
Yeah,
each
possibly,
game.
for sure.
Because I think when you look at a game like a Penn State Michigan, right, and you go, man, Penn State might be better, but with the crowd noise and the effect, maybe Michigan pulls out the upset there.
Right, gets that momentum.
Yeah, it gets the momentum, or like a Wisconsin or something. Be like, man, Wisconsin. Who knows on the road if they're going to be able to do it with all that crowd noise and stuff. I think it's going to really be like, all right, the best team is going to win every single game. And if you want to look at it optimistically, you're going to Ohio State this year.
Yeah.
So
if there's limited crowd noise.
Yeah, playing with 40% crowd noise, you can actually hear your play calls.
Right.
Maybe it evens the playing field at least a little bit against Ohio State.
Right.
The game that everyone wants Michigan to win.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah, I think it's.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely bring. Like I said, I don't know necessarily if it affects the tippy top of some of these teams, but like I said, like in Indiana, they're in a lot of close games. They usually don't pull them out, but they're always kind of right there at the end. Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan, all those teams are kind of lumped in there, together. Those 3-4 teams. So I think you're definitely going to see, maybe some teams where it's like, wow, all of a sudden there's an 8-win team over here now that you didn't expect at the beginning of the season. It's definitely going to be something to look at as far as, what this project is going to be like. Do you think, just switch to the NFL just for a hot second here, do you think that helps or hurts the Lions? Because, we have, being to enough home games now, I used to be a season ticket holder, there's a lot of crowd noise in that stadium. Like, when that place is really hopping, it's at max capacity for a Monday night game or something like that. Like, there aren't many stadiums that are louder when Ford Field is truly at its peak. Like, when the Lions are playing well or a big play happens, it's loud. It is super, super loud to a point where, it is intimidating, And, a team like Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. Their stadium is legitimately designed to funnel in crowd noise. Do you think it helps or hurts teams like the Lions who are on a make or break season this year kind of level? So when they go over to a Green Bay and Lambeau is only 50% full, you're like, oh yeah, this is fine now.
I think I've always thought that having a dome was more of a hurt than a help. So I that's how I look at it. Yeah. I don't actually look at crowd noise for the NFL unless you're in a Seattle or Kansas City where you're literally at 185 decibels and literally you can't hear, and me and you were talking and we can't hear each other. Right. I think that's the teams that it affects a lot more. Right. But I've never really looked at crowd noise in the NFL as a huge decider factor. Because I think a team like Seattle will beat the New York Jets. Yeah. If it's 100% full or 0% full, I just think you're a better team. Yeah, and I think you'll eventually pull it out in the NFL. Yeah. I think it affects college a lot more because there are more mistakes in college. And with the crowd noise and everything, you're not as in tune with all your receivers and everything. On offense or defense, you're not as in tune with all right, you're trying to call jackrabbit for some kind of play, but they can't hear you and you can't communicate that somehow. It's gonna
Oh yeah, you see it all the time.
Some guys are playing for 11 years together. You can just go. And that means back up, or you know what I mean. So I think it affects the NFL a lot less. Yeah,
I definitely think so. But it'll be interesting to see though, because the Lions reporters have talked to Stafford about it, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be great for me, because makes no difference. He's on the road. Yeah, he's like just like a home game at that point, because you do see, I've been to enough Lions games now where it does affect opposing offenses,
Absolutely.
Where it's you get that 5-yard offside penalty because you can't hear the count or stuff like that. Those little things really get the momentum going, you know what I mean, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm all for the Lions having any edge possible this season because good Lord, do we need it. Okay. That's going to be it for part 1 of this week's show. After the break, we're going to be talking a lot of wrestling. We got AEW to talk about. We got Money in the Bank to talk about. We got some title tournament stuff going on. Lots of wrestling action coming your way after the break. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Mendyka. Just reminding you once again that we are live every single Monday, 7 a.m. on all your favorite podcasting streaming services, whether that's Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, wherever you like to listen to podcasts, we're there. And if we're not, let us know by going to our website, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. Fill out our contact page. We don't send out emails. We don't have a mailing list or anything like that, so we're not going to bombard your inboxes with different stuff. You already know. You want to get the news. You know where to go. I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. You can find all the latest news about the show. You can buy our merchandise from that website. It'll redirect you to belowthecollar.com, where you can buy our logo shirt. All proceeds from that go towards the show. So if you really support the show, you like the show, tell all your friends about it and buy the shirt, support the show, and we really appreciate it. We really appreciate all your support. Hope you're staying safe out there. Now here's part 2 of this week's episode. And welcome back to part 2 of this week's episode of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. Thanks, Kyle, for being here. We really appreciate it. We will see you hopefully soon. You slacker. My goodness. All right. Let's jump right in, Mike, here. Lots of wrestling stuff to talk about. Let's talk Money in the Bank first here before we do all our previews. Money in the Bank happened. We got a new Asuka wins Money in the Bank, and then Otis somehow, some way, walks out with the men's Money in the Bank. Nothing else really of note happens. You know, Drew McIntyre retains, Braun Strowman retains, tag champs retain. Everybody else did their thing, right? Thoughts overall on the show and the Money in the Bank winners?
I thought most of the show was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Outside of,
I thought the McIntyre Rollins match
outside
was
of
good.
that was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
And then the Money in the Bank was like interesting, but
It was
a lot.
It was entertaining.
There was a lot to that.
Yeah.
And outside of that, there was nothing really redeeming on this show. Really.
Yeah, for sure.
The tag match, I was like, whatever. They did it on Friday.
Not only that match specifically was the one I always liked, like the variable where it's like you don't have really sort of like let's just throw a whole bunch of tag teams in there. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a car crash. There was nothing to it that made me go, wow, that was at least an entertaining opening match. It was just like, we just need to get 8 guys on the card. That was the one match that disappointed me the most because of who was in that match.
Yeah. Bailey Tamina was exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
Nothing very good.
Yep.
And Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt was exactly what I expected. Wasn't very good.
Yeah, so bad. So bad. I'm so tired of having, like, Bray Wyatt's actually a decent wrestler. I think he can actually just go.
Yeah.
And so when they add all the other crap into it, it irks me to no end because I'm like, can't I just have can't you just go out for 12 minutes and have a match? Yeah. Why do I gotta have every other nook and cranny, every spiel that we can possibly thrown out there to make this match go longer and not add value to this? You know what I mean? It's like, you want to make Braun a dominant guy? Cool. Yeah. That's fine. Bray Wyatt himself should not beat Strowman. Now, The Fiend, that's going to be a different story, but I agree with you. This is really a 2-match card, quite frankly.
Yeah, WWE Championship match, I thought was very well
done. I thought it was good.
I think McIntyre is the perfect guy for these empty arena shows.
Yes.
The WWE champion.
Yes.
Because there's not a single other guy
on
any of the 3 shows that I'm like, can really carry on an empty arena like Drew McIntyre can.
Yeah, he's firing on all cylinders right now. It's about time, quite frankly, that he's gotten anointed.
I wouldn't even think
guy.
He'd be this good with the crowd, with empty arena. His just because when you're with the crowd, you're trying to pamper to the crowd most of the time.
No, he's not. He's just
he walks and he goes,
focused.
I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you, and then does it, and I'm just like, all right,
yeah, he's the champ.
He's the only redeeming quality on WWE TV in last
he's been very, very good. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the actual winners of the match?
Yeah. Okay. So, I was fine with both of them.
Yeah.
Really.
I was really glad Asuka won.
Yeah,
she's really been on fire.
Asuka was really good. Yeah. I knew Shayna really wasn't going to win.
We talked about that. She's been the MVP of the empty arena shows too.
Yeah,
Asuka she's been really good. Her and Drew have been if you're going MVPs of this time have been them two.
I feel like Asuka's a great, especially we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
The stuff that happened on Monday with Becky Lynch.
Right.
I think Asuka's perfect person to kind of just take it.
Yes.
And then Shayna will probably just beat her at SummerSlam or
wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a good placeholder kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then the men's one, Otis. I mean, I feel like they're going to do a little bit of a Mr. Kennedy thing with him.
Probably.
Where I've heard either going to beat him or he's going to cash on
for the tag titles, right? Or he's if I win it, yeah. See now that's the thing. Now maybe this is the only. I like Otis as the character. I think he's extremely entertaining. I watched SmackDown this week just to see what was going to happen, just to kind of see what the deal was. you know, he's got decent promo skills. He's entertaining. He's not terrible in the ring. You know, he's athletic. I get it. You know, he's a fun character. The only problem, and it's the same thing we talked about at the beginning of last week's show, was where I said, with the Money in the Bank, I feel like you need to... It's supposed to be something that elevates a guy, right? And now maybe it's elevating Otis because, like, oh, he could... But nobody in their right mind is truly going to think that he is going to become Universal or WWE champion. I just don't... Like, if he cashes in and becomes, you know, a tag champ or Intercontinental champion, I can at least... Santino Marella was Intercontinental champion. I can believe Otis is Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
Like... Am I going to be happy about it? Probably not.
See,
thrilled.
Here's what I think about it with the tag champ. Is like, I don't love the idea that he's going to cash in on a tag champ.
Yeah,
I feel like with the storyline where he's kind of pulling towards Mandy Rose a lot right now, I think when Tucker comes back, he's going to run like a jealousy angle. He's like, hey, don't be jealous. I'm cashing this in so we can win a title together.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of like, okay, like I feel kind of good about that.
Right.
And I feel like that's...
I'm waiting to. I'm not judging it too hard right now. I think they were tough. I think they were in a tough spot because when you look at who was in that match, right? Unless it was Aleister Black, and it was either him or Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. Like I didn't think Corbin was going to get it again, right? And there's not really Bryan doesn't need it. AJ doesn't need it. Black needs it, but I don't think he's at a spot yet from a work rate standpoint where I go, wow, he's really been, killing it, even before the no crowds.
I think Aleister Black would be like a next year pick if they keep doing this right. I think he'd probably win it next year, kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's a perfect guy for that. Like I think a guy like Andrade is a perfect guy for that Money in the Bank kind of thing, spot, especially if he drops the U.S. title.
So I think Otis winning was like out of the 6. I thought it was like the least likely one, but I kind of get it because he's like the very over guy right now.
He's the only.
I think it adds to shock value because I don't think anything on this card really was like, wow, like you have to rewatch this because
I was I was a little shocked that Asuka won because I thought they were gonna go Lacey Evans. Quite frankly, I was legitimately like, I was like, this might be.
Can we talk? Okay, so there's a few moments in this Money in the Bank ladder match that were just so.
I was dying. I was laughing at some of this part.
There's a part. So you have to assume, now we're going to use logic for like 6 seconds here, and I get WWE doesn't do this whole logic thing half the time. So there's a
Wrestling
part,
in general, quite frankly.
There's a part in the women's one where Dana Brooke goes into like some weird office
and grabs that
unhooks the one with the money in it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, did no one tell her that she has to make it to the roof?
Yeah. I don't think they actually. The weird part is, I think it was like
because they've been announcing and
like
then I was like, do they never watch the show? Like when they're sitting in the back because
they did like the music and everything, and I was like, wait, is that it?
I know. I was like,
wait,
did
what?
she really just win it?
Did they find it? Did they find it? Like, do you gotta? Is it like a treasure hunt kind of? Yeah,
So that part, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it didn't look good.
Because you texted me and you were like, did she just win?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm very confused. Because I was thinking the same. I'm like, I thought they had to go to the roof. Like, what are the is everyone just gonna walk through all of your? No, I'm not in here. Not in here.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought that was
weird.
It
was hilarious.
And then AJ gets thrown into like a casket in one room, and I went. I'm not shocked that WWE headquarters has just a casket.
Oh, it doesn't shock me at all.
Dark lights.
The best part of that match for me though was when they went into Vince's office, and then they get all whatever, and then they stop, and then they go, oh crap, and then they push in the chairs. I died during that part. I thought for what it was. Knowing that they're not having the crowd to play off, so the false finishes don't really have any effect. You know what I mean? I thought they did a nice job with the Money in the Bank match. I think they did the best they could. I thought it was entertaining. I was thoroughly invested in the match from the start of it, right? Like, I thought the entrances were the dumbest thing of the match, where everyone's like, I'm going to beat you up. Hold on. This guy's going to walk in first before we start fighting. Like, that part was dumb. Everything else, though, I thought they did a really nice job with it. All right, let's talk Becky Lynch's announcement. She's going to be a mom. Congratulations to her and Seth Rollins. Way to go, Seth. You ruined everything. Again. But with that, Asuka now becomes Raw Women's Champion, right? Thoughts on the announcement? How big of a hole is it going to be that now Becky's gone in the women's division? I mean, she hasn't been on TV for a minute, but like she was also the hottest thing going for the past year and a half.
I think it's going to be a substantial hole. I think long term this is actually going to help WWE though.
I do too.
Because I think Asuka's going to do her thing.
I think Asuka should have a nice NXT style run.
I agree, but I think they're eventually just going to be like, all right, Shayna at SummerSlam or whatever pay-per-view they're going to give it to her. I think Shayna's going to run house on everyone till maybe next year's main or whenever Becky's cleared to go again. Yeah. And then Becky's going to come back and be like, listen, I never lost this title. Yeah, and I actually beat you for the title.
She's doing December, so yeah.
Yeah, so I think Shayna's going to have a long title reign beating the crap out of everybody, and then Becky's going to be like, I beat you last year at Mania, and it's going to be like a rematch.
I kind of want them to wait on Shayna just a bit. I really think that they can run hard with Asuka for a while.
They can.
I think Asuka being, because here's the thing. Asuka hasn't lost a singles match. I can't remember the last time Asuka's just been pinned. When's the last time Asuka's been pinned? You know what I mean?
On a Raw.
Yeah, I don't think, you know what I mean? So, that kind of stuff where, even though they haven't necessarily used her to the best of their ability, I mean, she's still got a Rumble win. She's been a tag champ. She's been a SmackDown champ. She's a Raw she's had a lot of stuff. Yeah. Check that list off where, if they were going to give it to anybody, she is the most credible person at this point in time they could have given it to. And I really hope they let her run with it in the style that she had in NXT, where she just went and had great match after great match after great match, building up to that match with Shayna, where that's two unstoppable forces. Okay, what's gonna give? You know what I mean?
I really like to. Last thing before we probably move on is hindsight 2020. I love now that Shayna didn't win. Yeah. Because could you imagine Shayna coming out and Becky going, here's the Raw title that you just won, and Shayna's like, cool, I won it, and I'm like, that's how you're gonna win the title?
Yeah, that's not good. Lucky. Yeah, right. Asuka's built up enough equity now where it's like. If Asuka could have beat Becky, I think at any point in time, honestly, Asuka is the only person outside of Shayna in just a regular match where I go, you could definitely beat her. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting for sure. All right, let's talk AEW's Double or Nothing. It's gonna be happening next weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Is it on a Saturday or is it Sunday?
Saturday.
It's on a Saturday.
Yeah,
cool. We'll have to buy that. But the show is kind of shaping up to what it's going to be. I think the headlining match is not the world title. I think it's the TNT Championship. Yeah. They've really spent a lot of TV time really, really, really pushing this card. Yeah. So obviously Cody versus Lance Archer for the TNT title. Mike Tyson going to be presenting, right?
Yeah, Wednesday. He's presenting the title on Wednesday.
Oh, I thought he was actually doing it at the pay-per-view.
No, it's supposed to be on Wednesday. I think they announced it.
Really? Oh, they're actually announcing.
They're gonna announce he's gonna unveil the title, and I think
he's gonna present it to the. Okay, so we're actually gonna get the title design this week. I think so. Oh, don't get me excited, Mike. Don't you get me excited like that. But all right, go down the rest of the card for us, Mike, to see what we're dealing with.
All right, so we're gonna open with it looks like a pre-show match because it has a P next to it on Wiki. Private Party versus Best Friends. Tag team match to determine the number one contender for the AEW tag titles.
All right, real quick here before we move on. Your thoughts on just the fact that we have had no tag champs in a long time on the show. Kenny's been there, but no Hangman, right? And I'm getting to the point where it's I almost feel like they should either take the title off Hangman or they need to just give
I think this is slowly. I think in the next couple weeks you're going to see it.
Because as we'll talk about here to end the show with the Intercontinental Championship that they took the title off Sammy, right? I understand you don't feel safe, you don't want to work, whatever the case may be. Totally cool. But AEW's only got 2 titles right now. Yeah. So it's you haven't even had a mention of this division, and you have all these tag teams that are just kind of sitting here.
I think it's weird because I'm you could, since you're in the elite.
Yeah, give it to somebody else.
Yeah, you could 3-bird it and have fight with Matt or Nick. Or whatever.
Somebody else. Yes,
so I agree with that. I think they'll lose it very soon though because I think one of these 2 teams will probably win.
Right.
So Private Party or Best Friends, who would you take?
I got Best Friends. I think they're on fire right now. I really do. I think Beretta is a future main event guy for them. I agree. I legitimately think that he is going to get to that.
I think Best Friends win. I think they eventually win the titles.
I do too.
They'll probably long term go against probably the Lucha Bros.
Yes.
And some
kind of thing
absolutely. Going on. Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander singles match.
I think Britt Baker needs this win desperately. I think she is the most over star they have in the women's division. I think they have a lot of equity put into her. I think Statlander, she was the new hotness. I think when we went to Revolution, we saw that match. It didn't deliver the way they thought it was going to. I think Statlander's a year away. I think she's going to be the face of the division long term, along with Britt. But I think she needs to be the one to hopefully kind of be the one to knock off either this... whoever the number one contender is right now for it, she wins it, beating Nyla Rose or whatever, and then she wins it. But I think they need to get the title on Britt Baker now.
Yeah. So speaking of that, we'll go to Nyla Rose champion versus Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
No DQ, no count-out match for the women's world title.
And I think that leverages for her to pull off a win over Nyla, because then it's not like she just beat Nyla straight up, where it's like there's a lot of weapons, so the more impact kind of thing. It's supposed to help Nyla, but it levels the playing field a little bit, you know, where it allows Nyla to potentially drop the championship without losing the fact that she's a monster. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
MJF with Wardlow versus Jungle Boy.
Yeah, it's just a filler. It's just a filler match, really, just to get MJF on the card, you know, to keep his momentum going.
You got Matt Hardy and the Elite, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson versus the Inner Circle, Jericho, Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santina, and Ortiz in a Stadium Stampede match, which I don't know what that means.
I think they're going to try to go.
They're going to fight in those.
They're going to try to go cinematic like WWE's doing, right? Because they can't do blood and guts right now. Yeah. So they're going to do this match. I think it's going to be entertaining, but it's not going to be what we want it to be. As from man, you've got 10 guys that are just going to be can all be phenomenal. Yeah. It's not going to be that. It's going to be more of like a. It's an attraction, is what it is. So it'll be fine. I'm guessing the Inner Circle probably gets the dub.
Probably. All right, here we go. Casino ladder match for the future AEW World Championship match. So far, we got Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, and Frankie Kazarian as 7 people that are going to be in the match. 2 more are going to be announced.
Right. Okay. So
I'm going to assume maybe one of them might be Pac. Because he's not on the card yet. I don't know if he's here to wrestle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really know. Maybe like Christopher Daniels might be on the.
Maybe Wardlow even.
Maybe Wardlow.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say out of the 7, if you had to pick somebody, not knowing.
Yeah, I don't.
Since it's recording on Sunday morning.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and not that I know. I think the problem with the lineup of guys is that there's nobody on that's really ready to take that next step, in my opinion. Like Darby Allin, they've tried. I don't think it's his time. He's not. He's ready. He'll be ready to beat Cody at some point, but it's not now. Scorpio Sky, I think, is the guy most likely on that list of people that could potentially win it. I think he's the guy that has had enough singles run in the company so far that could potentially get it. This would have been a perfect match for Brody to be in.
Yeah.
Because then he could have won that and taken the next step, you know what I mean, to go over there and get it. I would be surprised to see Orange Cassidy get it just because he's over. But once again, he hasn't won a match. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's won a match since he's been there.
Yeah, I personally think it's going to be one of these 2 to be announced people.
It could be, yeah. And if they come in and it's Hangman or something, or it's Kenny or something, they do a surprise, then maybe that's the case. But right now, I don't really like the thought of this. Honestly, it's a little bit of a ripoff of the Money in the Bank, quite frankly. So
it's Money in the Bank, but you just get a match, not like an opportunity kind of thing.
Exactly. So I understand it's going to be a great match, I'm sure, because everyone's just going to be flying all over the place.
You have what? Darby's going to do a coffin drop off the top of the ladders through somebody.
Yeah, Scorpio's athletic.
Rey Fenix.
Right.
I have Rey Fenix winning because I think it's going to be
that's
eyeball.
For sure.
He's been world champion other promotions, and
Absolutely.
I think he could just have a great match with Moxley or Brody, whoever's champ.
He's really, really good. If MJF wasn't doing anything, I think this would be a perfect time for MJF to be in this match too, where he's like the one guy who doesn't do any high flying stuff, so he kind of sneaks up there at the end, kind of thing. So I'm not thrilled with the logic behind it. I just feel like it's a novelty match because they don't have anything else for these guys, so they're just putting a ladder match is going to be a good match, most likely just because it's a ladder match, not because of what the story implications are behind it.
We're going to do Jon Moxley champ versus Brody Lee singles match for the AEW World Championship. I think personally they're booking this into a big corner.
Yes, I was about to say I hate this. Corner I hate this booking
because I think
hate it.
If Moxley loses, I'm like, that was your title run. It was one defense against Jake Hager, and that's it.
Right.
That's kind of rough. And if Brody Lee loses, you lose all credibility in the Dark Order.
Right.
Because he can't win.
Exactly. Which is, I'm lending it to a bad finish where basically Brody's going to be in trouble and then people are going to run down and interfere.
Maybe.
Because but once again, though, that hurts the credibility of what you're trying to do. Even with Jericho beating Cody, you then set up another story with Cody and MJF to keep Jericho with the title. With Moxley's a face now, it's a lot harder to book a face champion. That's why you don't see baby faces usually in modern era outside of Cena hold the title for a really, really long time. It just doesn't happen. And there's a reason for that. It's because he's the hero. He's supposed to overcome the odds. What odds is he facing right now against the Dark Order, right? Like, there's a lot of people, sure, but like Brody Lee should be untouched for a long time. This is the only angle they have done organically since the creation of the whole freaking thing, of the whole promotion, and I guess the Inner Circle. But like those are the only two things that they have done that have set anything else up. There's no new creative ideas that AEW's really had, right? Like the Elite has already been a thing. Moxley is a known commodity. MJF was a known commodity, at least in wrestling. As far as like his character, it's the same character. Nothing is new outside of these couple things. So the fact that you have a guy like Brody Lee is challenging for the title, I get why he's challenging for the title, but this is not the time for that. You know what I mean? Like Moxley, like I would have rather seen him go against Hager now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Hager beats him in that other match in a non-title to earn the shot to get there. Fine. But right now, you're gonna hurt one of them, if not both of them are gonna come out worse because of this match.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna say Moxley retains, but necessarily not by pinfall or submission.
I think Brody might win because I think
honestly,
they're gonna run with Brody for a little bit.
Fine. Honestly, that might not be the worst case scenario because right now, quite frankly, much longer can Moxley truly just be pissed off forever?
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like
I think Brody can win, and he can use his goons or whatever you call them to help win matches.
Moxley's character is hard for him to maintain and be the world champion at the same time. Moxley is the guy where it's like my guy, and he's like, if he's your guy, it's like, oh my gosh, he's finally done it, and then he drops right back. Like I wouldn't have hated if Jericho cashed in like a rematch like 2 weeks later and beat him again, just to further that line of like, you know, it's like he accomplished his goal, right? But it's like, man, then my hero gets knocked all the way back down again. Yeah. Right now, the hero's on top. Yeah. So there's no, you know what I mean? Somebody's got to knock him out. If Brody wins, good for him. He deserves it. After that run in WWE, he should have been a main eventer in WWE a long time ago.
And then our final match, the tournament final for the AEW TNT Champion, we got Cody with Arn Anderson and Brandi Rhodes versus Lance Archer with Jake Roberts.
Do you think this card is a one-match card? This show, or I should say,
here's the thing. I think
from a storyline, like
everything,
I'm invested in this.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I think like the ladder match is gonna be a lot. I think it's
gonna be good. Yeah,
I think the Stadium Stampede is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes,
but I think like logistically, like matches that I'm looking forward to, and that's gonna be
I have a lot of time. Like, okay, who's gonna win? Like, I'm really excited to see who's gonna win.
It's really a one match card for me.
Okay,
it's kind of like how Double or Nothing last year, where I was like, it's really a 2-3 match card, and they had like 9 matches on the card. Like, I'm like, nothing was really set up. It was just kind of like one match, or 2 matches or whatever.
Correct.
This one for me, I go back and forth a lot with, because I go,
it's gotta be Cody.
I see Cody winning.
It's gotta be,
and I think it has to be Cody win. But I'm like, if you beat Lance Archer.
Here's my, and I agree with you. Here's my only saving grace with that, though, is that Cody is one of the few guys in this company right now that can beat Archer, and Archer's okay. You know what I mean? And here's why. Because if you beat Cody again, right, you kill Cody.
I agree.
Because he hasn't won a big match this entire time. Yeah. Legit. Beating his brother, who's 50, is not a big win. All right? Great match, not a big win, though, right? You lose to MJF, you lose to Jericho, you have not won a big singles match since AEW has been created. So, you have to, where Archer, the way that they're playing with Archer could easily, he loses the match, right? You know, something happens with Arn and Jake where something happens, right? There's whatever happens. Cody gets the win, but Archer can get his heat back immediately and beat the crap out of Cody, and we're off and running, right?
Yeah,
because
that's true.
Archer, I don't think has enough equity built up where it's like, oh my gosh, they just beat Lance. Like, he's been around for 2 months. It's not the same thing for me where it's like with Jake the Snake, he's a guy where he can still go in for the next 3 months now and just go on a rampage until he gets a title shot. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that it has to be Cody because at this point you're making it seem like Cody's the one guy who can't ever get the job done in any big time situation.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I guess I'll tend to agree with that. So I'll go Cody too.
I also, just quite frankly, I think they need that. I agree.
I think if Cody was TNT champion, especially because he's available to be on all these shows,
him being on every single night and defending the title and having a good long string of matches, and then a new guy comes in and up, like that's the big thing because whoever beats Cody for that championship is made immediately. Whether it's Darby Allin, whether it's Archer, name a guy, it's like, oh my gosh. Cody goes on a 5-month win streak here, title defenses, and all of a sudden he drops it, via roll-up. It's like, he's the guy. You know what I mean? So it lends itself where if Archer wins it, yeah, okay, I beat the big monster. But Archer as a whole, even general wrestling fans go, yeah, they're pushing him. Cody is a main event guy no matter the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which I think is a little bit different. So I got Cody winning. You got Cody winning?
Yeah, I've got
I just, honestly, too, it'd be really hard for me to pick against Cody against anybody pretty much in the company right now because I'm like, he's got to win it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's he going to do? Just be a tag wrestler forever? Like, what are you going to do? But it's going to be interesting for sure. We'll obviously do a review of the show. If it happens on Saturday, then we should have Sunday, we should have it next week for sure. All right, last topic here. Right before we go off air, I want to talk about these title tournaments. We talked about the TNT Championship tournament, right, where it was one of the few things that I was genuinely interested in. I love title tournaments. I really do. Just from a possibility perspective. We've got the Cruiserweight title with the round robin thing going on, a la G1 Climax kind of thing, right? And then we've also got now the Intercontinental Championship tournament. Does this make you want to watch NXT? Did it make you want to watch AEW more? SmackDown? Like, I tuned into SmackDown for the first time yesterday or 2 days ago for the first time in months because I was like, all right, let me see who's in the tournament. Let's see who we got. Who gets the couple wins here. Let's see what Otis is doing. But like, the Intercontinental Championship to me is my favorite championship of all time. Like, it is the one title where I go, if you're Intercontinental Champion, you better be able to do something, whether it be entertaining or be able to go in the ring. Your thoughts on there's been more title tournaments in the past month than there has been in years.
Yeah, my problem with these tournaments is I think WWE hasn't booked it right in a really long time, and I think I look at tournaments, like I look at sports tournaments, like playoffs and stuff. I go, you're playing for that goal, and I get why you're playing for a Super Bowl. I get that, and that's why you're in this tournament because you wanted to do well to get to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So like when I look at AEW, I'm like, you want to be the first TNT champion because that's like a big deal being the first champion of whatever it is. So I get why all these guys want to be in it and why this match is so important at Double or Nothing. I look at stuff like the Cruiserweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship at this point in time, and I go, it doesn't excite me because I'm like, if you're Intercontinental Champion, okay, like right now, normally I would be very excited for these. Like if Adam Cole gets called up, drops the belt, and you have an 8-man tournament for the NXT title, wrap it up. I am in there every single episode to watch that stuff because I'm invested. If like Gargano, Cross, Gargano, like all the Ciampa, all these guys are in the matches or whatever. But right now I'm like, okay, so like AJ's in the tournament, AJ Styles in the tournament, Jeff Hardy's in the tournament. I'm like, all these guys, I'm like, if they win the title. I
will say this though, to WWE's credit though, they are putting in, for the most part, the top guys that they can.
Yeah, they're trying.
They're trying. Like I'm really glad I don't see Apollo Crews, Elias. I know Elias didn't, but even though if Elias was the biggest name on that list of guys, like if I see an Austin Theory, Apollo Crews, I guess you can throw Shinsuke in there, but if I don't see anybody worth a damn in that card, I go, oh boy,
I agree. Rough, I do think that they tried, they put the Daniel Bryans and the Sheamus, who's getting a big push, and AJ Styles in it. But at the same time, I'm just like, the Intercontinental Championship to me right now hasn't meant
crap for a while. I know, which is so
that's my problem. Is I'm like, you're playing for something that doesn't really mean anything to people right now. It's just like you're holding something that makes you stand out a little different. Because you're holding this, but it's not really like I'm Intercontinental Champion. It's just like I'm just champion.
Right. Now, I'm hoping that this will spurn something where it's like, okay, now we see that it's featured in a prominent role.
If AJ wins it and goes on a 5-month win streak, and now this title is super important. Then I'm like, okay.
That's why I like the fact that I know Andrade keeps losing to Drew McIntyre, but the fact the U.S. title's on every single week and he's in a big time match.
Listen, you can lose to Drew McIntyre because you're technically supposed to.
He's the WWE champion. Right. That's the point though. It's but he's the United States champion. He's the second best guy on this roster. Hierarchy wise. Real quick, predictions. Who wins this cruiserweight? I mean, most of it's kind of already shaken out, but who do you got winning the interim cruiserweight title? And who do you got winning
in the running for it?
Well, you got Kushida. He's got another tournament match. He's 2-0.
I'll pick Kushida. 100%.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah. El Hijo de Fantasma and I think Tozawa. I think.
I honestly haven't watched.
See, I've actually wanted to watch the cruiserweight one a lot because I'm like, all right, we get to see some high-flying stuff, but they haven't really been doing that.
No, they go for 5 or 6 minutes, I've heard.
It irks me. Yeah, it's been irking me the
and then
entire time.
the Intercontinental one, I'm going to pick probably AJ to win it.
I think Sheamus is going to win it.
Or Sheamus.
I think, unfortunately,
one of them two is going to win.
It's going to really bum me out because the only problem I have with WWE tournaments a little bit is that they always seem to like not want to put on like the right person. Like they never want to get the right matchups. So it's like I want to see the best possible. I don't know who's going to win match. Not the we're trying to make this. No, let that come later. You know what I mean? Like you see Daniel Bryan versus like Sheamus. You go, I don't know who's going to win this match. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to know that winner. I don't want to see Sheamus beat the crap out of Chad Gable and then he beats Apollo Crews to get the fun. That doesn't, interest me. So I have a little bit, but I honestly think that it's going to go Sheamus just because it's
Sheamus. I think it's going to be Sheamus and AJ in like the final, and then maybe it'll probably go Sheamus.
Right, exactly. It's going to be interesting for sure. I'm interested to see what they do as far as the tournament goes. It'll be interesting for sure. All right, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Like I said, every single Monday, every single Wednesday, we are live. You will get new episodes from us. Be on the lookout for maybe a quick hitter episode in the next week or two. We got some stuff going there as well. On behalf of the Whaleman, the Merc Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys as always next time.